After doing problems 1 through 6, hopefully we have a good review of factoring, because as we look down here on 7, 8, and 9, now we're going to use factoring to help us solve. So we need to identify the fact that this one has a factoring of difference of squares, and the square root of 36 is 6. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 25 is 5. Difference between two squares, different signs. But now we have to solve. We didn't have to solve on the first 6. There was no equal sign in them. But the nice thing on a difference of squares problem is that once we do 1, the only difference in terms of the other solution is that it's going to change the sign. So I set 6x minus 5 equal to 0. We're solving that. We get x equals 5, 6. If you did all the work with regards to the second factor, you would still find that we end up with negative 5, 6. When we look at problem number 8, we have to set the equation equal to 0 before we can factor. And this is going to be a split the middle. 3 times 8 is 24. And the factors are 1 and 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. And it looks like the problems, or the factors that we're going to use are 4 times 6. Because we need to combine to be 2. And in fact, it's going to be negative 4 plus 6. That's going to give us 2, which is really this 2 right here. So it's 3x squared minus 4x plus 6x minus 8. Group. The greatest common factor in the first group is just x, the lowest exponent. We're left with 3x minus 4. By the way, we had 2 x's. We took 1 out. We still have 1. We had 1 x. We took it out. In our next group, the greatest common factor is 2. 6x divided by 2 is 3x. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. So we get 3x minus 4 and x plus 2. And now we're going to take each of those factors and we're going to set them equal to 0. So we can add 4 to both sides. We get 3x equals 4. And then, when we divide both sides by 3, we get x equals 4/3. Running out of room there. Subtracting 2 from both sides, we get x equals negative 2. Now I changed it up on problem 9 a little bit. It still is going to be a split the middle. But I made the exponent 4 on this one, and I maybe should have put this problem in the polynomials because it's not a quadratic. It's a quartic, if you remember that word, and that hasn't been that long ago, so hopefully you do. But I'm still going to factor, and what happens is we've got 1 times 10 is 10, and our factors of 10 are 1 and 10, and 2 and 5. And the only way that we can combine to get 7 is with the 2 and the 5. But what I want to stress to you here is that when we write down our x to the 4th and our 10, when we put these back in, we need negative 2 and negative 5 will give us negative 7, but it's going to be negative 2x squared, because that's what the middle is, minus 5x squared. And then we can group. Everything else should be fairly, hopefully, low-key. But greatest common factor is going to be x squared, the lowest exponent. We had 4 x's. We took out 2. We still have 2. We had 2 x's. We took them out. We just have the 2. Minus 5 here. Our 5 is the greatest common factor. Negative 5x squared divided by negative 5 is x squared. Positive 10 divided by negative 5 is negative 2. And we get x squared minus 2 times x squared minus 5. And then we're going to set each of those equal to 0. So we get x squared minus 2 equals 0. Add the 2 to both sides. We get x squared equals 2. Remember, we're going to take the square root to both sides, which isn't what people forget. It's that when we take the square root, we need to have plus or minus the square root of 2. Same idea over here. X squared minus 5 equals 0. Add the 5 to both sides. We get x squared equals 5. Then we're going to take the square root of both sides. We get x equals plus or minus the square root of 5.